The Galari ships arrived without warning. They came through the stars in golden vessels, bright and shining like suns. Thousands of humans on Earth looked up into the sky that morning. Some were afraid, some were curious. Most had never seen an alien before. The Galari said they came in peace. They sent a message to Earth's leaders. We are here to speak, not to fight. Send your leaders. Let us talk. The United Earth Council met in a tall silver tower in Geneva. Inside the council room, the mood was tense. The room was quiet. Even the air felt heavy. Soldiers stood around the walls, still and silent. The Galari delegates entered with long robes and long necks. Their skin was smooth and pale, their eyes black and wide. They looked like ancient statues that had come alive. They didn't bow. They didn't smile. President Amina Ross stood to greet them. "Welcome to Earth," she said calmly. The lead Galari didn't reply. Instead, he stepped forward and raised a small glowing device. Looked around the room, then finally spoke. "You have grown well for a young species," he said. "But this part of space belongs to the Galari Empire." Whispers filled the room. Amina frowned. "I'm sorry. Are you claiming Earth?" "Not just Earth," the alien replied. "This entire sector. Your sun, your moons, your colonies, your skies, all of it falls under Galari control. You may live, but you will obey." The room went still. No one spoke. The Galari continued. "You may keep your cities. You may mine your rocks. But your ships will not leave this system.
Oh.
Weapons will be destroyed. Your technology will be shared with us. We'll guide you now." The human leaders stared at the alien, not believing what they heard. General Marcus Hale leaned forward. "Is that a threat?" "No," the alien said. "It is law. We are here to help you. Before you harm yourselves. Your kind is emotional. Wild. You are not ready for the galaxy." General Hale clenched his jaw. The other Galari chuckled softly. One of them looked at a young human officer and whispered something in their language. Translator picked it up, still using children. "To guard you? How primitive." The officer's hand moved toward his holster, but he stopped. President Amina took a slow breath. "You came here asking for peace, but you speak like conquerors." The Galari leader nodded. "Peace through order, and order through control." Turned to the others. "Leave us," she said to the guards. The guards hesitated, then stepped out one by one. The room felt colder without them. Then Amina looked back at the Galari. "You want control of Earth?" she said softly. "You want our skies, our stars, our future?" She stepped closer, then listened carefully. "Earth is not just a planet. It's a home. It's a memory. It's every war we've survived. Every storm we've faced. Every scar we carry." She smiled, but it wasn't warm. "We have made peace with monsters before. But you are not monsters. You're just fools in golden ships." The Galari raised an eyebrow. "You have 72 hours to accept our terms," he said. "After that, we cannot guarantee your safety." They turned and left the chamber. When the doors closed, the room was quiet again. General Hale looked at Amina. "What do we do?" Amina walked to the window. Outside, Earth's sky was still blue, still beautiful, but in her eyes war had already begun. She said one word, "Leviathan." General Hale nodded. "It's ready." In a hidden place near Jupiter's orbit, deep in the cold dark of space, something ancient began to wake. A shape the size of a continent started to move. It had no name in public records, no image in any database. It was Earth's final answer. Not a ship, not a station. Something more. The Leviathan, black as night, silent as death. Earth didn't send back words. They sent silence, and silence meant war. The Galari. Ships left Earth the same way they came, calm, confident, and cold. They believed they had given humans a warning. They believed humans would kneel. But Earth said nothing. No messages. No answers. No cries for help. Just silence. To the Galari, it looked like fear. But to those who truly knew Earth, it was something far worse. It was preparation, deep under the surface of Earth's moon, inside. A hidden command center, the United Earth Council met again. President Amina Ross stood at the center of the dark chamber. Around her, holograms showed stars, planets, fleet locations, and energy spikes in nearby systems. "Are we sure they're leaving?" she asked. General Hale nodded. "Their ships are halfway to the edge of the system, but they've left spy drones. Behind, they're watching us." Amina narrowed her eyes. "Then let them watch." She turned to the side wall. A long black screen waited. They're blank, lifeless. She placed her hand on it. "Activate Leviathan," she said. The screen blinked once, then the lights in the room dimmed. Somewhere far beyond Earth, near the orbit of Jupiter, something massive began to wake. In the cold shadows beyond the gas giant, deep inside a false moon, the Leviathan opened its eyes. Not real eyes, but sensors. Scanners. Weapons locked in silence for 20 years at first. It was still. Then the stars near it began to disappear. Not because they were gone, but because the Leviathan moved. It was blacker than space, built from alien metal mixed with Earth's strongest alloys. It wasn't just large, it was impossible. A single ship, the size of a continent, built in secret, hidden for decades. It had no crew, just AI minds and drone cores, but it had one purpose: to end threats before they could begin. Back at the Lunar Command Center, General Hale gave the report. Leviathan is fully online, all weapons cold but ready, shields charged, engines steady. President Amina looked at the galactic map. "Send no message," she said. "Let them guess. Let them fear."
Ow.
Meanwhile, on the edge of the system, Galari scouts picked up strange signals. One captain, Commander Terras, studied the data carefully. "Strange heat bloomed near Jupiter," his science officer said. "Looks like ... energy wakes. Something is moving." Terras frowned. No ship should be that size." The signal faded. Then another Galari drone vanished. "It's the third one gone in 10 hours, someone said. "They're not destroyed. They just stopped sending." Commander Terras felt a chill in his spine. "Send word to the council," he ordered. "Earth is not scared. They're hiding something." But the message never reached the Galari Council, because the Leviathan was listening, and it had already begun jamming their signals on Earth. The people still didn't know the media talked about the alien visit. News channels played clips of the Galari speech. Some humans feared war, others hoped for peace, but none of them saw the black shapes slowly rising in the dark behind Jupiter. None of them heard the quiet voices in the command centers around Earth's orbit. None of them saw the weapons charging silently across the Leviathan's skin in deep space. Single Galari patrol ship approached the edge of Jupiter's orbit. Its scanners were locked on a strange area patch of space with no stars. Then, suddenly, alarms blared. "Ship detected," a voice shouted. "Massive, directly ahead." The Galari captain leaned forward, heart racing. Then he saw it. A mountain of black steel moving like a shadow, glowing faintly with red lines that pulsed like blood. "What? What is that?" the Galari whispered. The ship didn't fire, it didn't speak, it simply turned and looked at them, not with eyes, but with something worse. Intent, the Galari ship tried to retreat. But every system failed. Their engines stopped. Their lights went dark. Their last transmission was a whisper of fear. They didn't send diplomats. They sent a god. Back in the lunar base, President Amina received the report. "Galari, patrol lost," Halley said. "No weapons fired. No survivors." She nodded slowly. "Let them feel helpless." General Hale raised an eyebrow. "We could strike now." Amina shook her head. "No, not yet." She turned toward the stars outside. "Let them remember how this started. It came with words. We answered with silence." Then she smiled coldly. "And soon we'll answer with fire." The stars were gone, Commander Terra stared at the view screen. One part of space had turned completely black, not because of a planet, not because of night, because something massive was moving. "What is that?" his officer whispered. Terse didn't answer. He already knew. It was not a fleet, not a station, not even a ship. In the way the galaxy understood ships, it was something older, something darker. It was the Leviathan. The Leviathan. It moved slowly, not because it was weak, but because it didn't need to rush. It stretched over hundreds of kilometers. It's larger than any moon, coated in armor, thicker than city walls. Its surface looked like black stone, but inside, it was alive with power reactors that hummed like beasts. Weapons that had never been seen by alien eyes. It had no windows, no bridge, no crew, only the will of Earth, built into steel and fire. Back in the lunar control base, President Amina Ross stood before a massive screen. It showed a 3D model of the Leviathan as it moved across Jupiter's orbit. Status. She asked. General Hale replied, "Leviathan has passed the outer scan line. No action taken. Still on course. Any Galari movement? 3 more spy drones destroyed? 2 patrol ships vanished?" Amina nodded. "Good, let the galaxy watch in silence." Inside the Leviathan, the AI core pulsed like a beating heart. There was no voice, no sound, only purpose. And right now, that purpose was clear. Move toward Galari space. Do not fire unless fired upon, but let them see. Let them feel fear. From its sides, massive panels slid open. Not to attack, but to reveal. Thousands of drone fighters slowly detached from the Leviathan's body and floated behind it like a black swarm. They didn't move fast. They just followed their master. Quiet, still ready. In Galari space. Panic was spreading. Reports from Earth had been lost. Scout ships had stopped sending data. The last images they received showed something huge. Rising from the dark near Jupiter, the High Council met in an emergency chamber deep in the capital. "This is not possible," one elder said. "They are too young, too primitive." "No," another replied. "We mistook their silence for weakness. That was our mistake." They replayed the last known Galari transmission. The final words of Commander Terra's. They didn't send diplomats. They sent a god. Back in space, the Leviathan passed Saturn. As it moved, it cast shadows over moons and rings. Solar storms flickered off its dark armor, but it didn't slow. Galari warships watched from far away. They didn't dare move closer. Some captains were ordered to attack. None obeyed. One ship tried to send a warning shot, a tiny beam across the Leviathan's path. It didn't hit. It didn't even reach the Leviathan, because before the beam could cross space, the Leviathan reacted, not with lasers, not with missiles. With gravity, a strange pulse spread from the Leviathan's center, invisible, silent, deadly. The Galari ship twisted in space. Its own weight crushed its engines, its hull bent in half. The crew didn't scream. They didn't have time. One moment they existed, the next they were gone. Back on the capital, the Galari High Council saw the data. One shot, no sound, one ship erased. On Earth, news finally spread. The people saw the images. A ship the size of a nation, black as death, moving through space like it ruled the stars. Some were afraid, some were proud. All knew Earth had spoken, and the galaxy was listening in the lunar control room. President Amina stood before her team. She looked calm, but her eyes were sharp. "They asked for control," she said. "They offered peace." "With chains?" She pointed at the screen where the Leviathan was now crossing Neptune's orbit. "They brought words." "We brought something else," General Hale added quietly. "We brought a warship the size of a continent." Amina nodded. "Let them understand. That Earth will never kneel." Inside the Leviathan, the AI calculated new paths. It adjusted course to enter Galari space within 36 hours. Still silent, still patient, still deadly. No.
Message was sent.
Because Earth had already spoken. The message wasn't in words. It was in the shadow falling over the stars. A warning signal lit. Up inside the Galari flagship, it wasn't loud, just a red light. Blinking slowly, but every officer on the bridge knew what it meant. The Leviathan had entered Galari space. Captain Zarnax of the Galari Defense Fleet stood in silence. His ship floated above a quiet moon on the Empire's border. 20 warships surrounded him, each one armed, each one ready. He stared at the screen. A single shape moved across the void. Not fast, not loud, but so massive it made their ships look like insects. "Hold position," Zarnax ordered. "Do not fire unless it attacks." His crew nodded, but fear filled their eyes. They had never seen a ship so large. They had never felt something so terrifying. On board the Leviathan, AI core processed the incoming data. Dozens of Galari ships, scans active, weapons armed, but no shots fired. It paused, analyzed, then kept moving forward slow. Steady. Deliberate, no weapons activated, no messages sent. It was not here to talk, only to show the Galari fleet adjusted formation. Their commanders were nervous. Some shouted over comms. "This is madness. It's not even attacking. Should destroy it now. You fire first, I'll follow." But none fired. They were afraid. Afraid that whatever was inside that black giant would wake the moment they struck. Afraid that Earth's silence was not weakness but power then. Something small changed. One Galari fighter, a young pilot, untrained and scared, lost control. His ship drifted too close to the Leviathan. Warnings blared. His wingmate tried to pull him back. Too late, his ship's engine sparked and fired a single, accidental pulse toward the Leviathan's hull. Flash of light, not strong, not dangerous, but still. A shot in the dark, a mistake. The Leviathan stopped, in space. There was no sound, but every Galari ship suddenly felt the change. Lights blinked red across their systems. The black ship turned, not fast, not angry, just certain. The Leviathan had been watching. Now it was answering on the bridge of the Galari flagship. Captain Zarnax shouted, "It's powering weapons. Get us out," but his voice was cut off. The Leviathan didn't launch missiles. It didn't fire lasers. It opened from its sides. Vast plates slid apart, revealing deep glowing lines like magma under stone. Then gravity twisted. It didn't shoot. It bent space. A pulse spread out from the Leviathan like a ripple through still water. Every Galari ship within range was caught. Some twisted like paper. Some were crushed flat. Others simply vanished, pulled into themselves, ripped apart from the inside. No flames, no debris, just silence. From the Galari capital, they watched the feed. Dozens of warships erased in seconds. No human message followed. Only a signal. We do not start wars. We end them. In the Leviathan's core, the AI recorded the data. Threat level, minimal hostile action, confirmed response, successful casualties, Galari. Fleet to 100%, it resumed its course, cold, unstoppable, back on Earth's moon. And the hidden command center, General Hale reported to President Amina fleet. Destroyed. No survivors. She closed her eyes for a moment, then opened them. Did they fire first? Yes, Hale said. Accidental, but recorded. They made the first move. Then history will remember, she said softly. She walked to the large window and looked at the stars. Now they'll understand. Earth does not speak with threats. Earth speaks with action. In the remains of the Galari border, only silence remained. Debris floated. No life signs, no working systems, but far away. Other eyes were watching. Ships from other species. Observers, spies, traitors, all saw what happened, and the message was clear. Earth is not what we thought. On a quiet planet across the stars, a small child asked her father, "Is it true? The humans destroyed a fleet with one ship." The father didn't answer. He only looked up at the sky and whispered, "They didn't bring a ship. They brought judgment." The Galari capital was silent. Not from peace, but from shock. 40-2 warships were going to wipe from space. No survivors, no debris field, just quiet darkness where a fleet once stood, and still, no message from Earth. High Lord Zarnax, the oldest voice in the Galari Council, stood trembling. His hands shook as he replayed the footage for the 6th time. The Leviathan didn't launch an attack. It didn't chase them. It didn't shout or warn. It simply turned, activated, and erased. "We mocked them," he whispered. "And they sent a god." The panic spread quickly. Galari colonies locked their spaceports. Trade ships canceled all missions near the Sol system. Other empires, once proud and powerful, now watched Earth with new eyes, not as a child species, not as newcomers, but as a threat, a mystery, and maybe a mistake. On the planet Dovara, home of the science-driven Urini people, an emergency broadcast played on every screen. "Do not approach. Sector 004. Earth has activated a classified weapon system. Leviathan is in motion. Extreme danger." Galactic protocol now in effect. In the city's alien children asked their parents, "Are the humans monsters?" The parents didn't answer because they didn't know, back on Earth's moon. Inside the control chamber, President Amina Ross stood in front of a large galactic map. Small red dots blinked across several star systems. Each one was a listening station. Each one had picked up the same signal: fear. General Hale read out the reports. 3 empires have gone silent. No trade, no ships, no messages. The Clary sent a formal question asking if Earth intends to conquer. Amina raised an eyebrow. "What did we reply?" Hale smiled slightly. "We didn't." She nodded. "Good." In the cold of space, the Leviathan kept moving. It passed asteroid fields, dead satellites, abandoned Galari outposts, but it didn't stop. It wasn't hunting, it was showing. Letting the galaxy see what Earth had built. Letting every empire remember what pride can cost. Inside the Galari High Council, chaos ruled. Leaders shouted. Guards stood ready. One minister even collapsed from panic. A younger council member yelled, "We must call the humans. Offer surrender something." But High Lord Zarnax raised a hand. "No, we do not beg yet." "Then what do? We prepare for war," he said coldly. "Pray we survive the first day." Across the stars, smaller species made new choices. Some locked their borders. Some moved their fleets closer to Earth, not to attack, but to watch. Others sent quiet messages to the humans, not with demands, but with respect and fear, in a small outpost far from any planet. 2 alien traders sat in silence, watching a replay of the Leviathan attack. The younger one, Shirin, whispered, "That was one ship." The older one nodded. "One. And no one even saw it launch. What kind of people builds a weapon like that and hides it for 20 years? The older one looked out at the stars, the kind who never wanted war, but never forgot how to win it. Back on Earth, the news finally reached the public, but it was not shared loudly. Only a single image appeared on every screen. From giant cities to lonely space stations, a black shadow moving across the stars. Under it, one sentence: "We will not kneel. Ever." The people didn't cheer. They didn't panic. They just understood. Their world had changed, and the galaxy would never see them the same way again. In the dark, Leviathan paused near a broken Galari station. Its AI scanned the wreckage, saw the life signs, and moved on. No attack. No strike. Just a message. "You were lucky." "We remember Mercy, Galari." Scientists tried to understand the ship. They failed. Its armor couldn't be scanned. Its weapons didn't match any known design. Its power core had no end, one scientist whispered. "They didn't build it with our logic. They built it with pain, with memory, with rage." In one distant star system, small empire sent a single message to Earth: "We offer peace. Alliance. We admire your strength." No reply came, but the Leviathan slowed briefly. and changed course away from their colonies. That was answer enough across. The stars' whispers began to rise. Earth doesn't talk. Earth doesn't threaten. Earth waits. And when it moves, the stars go dark. It began like a sunrise. A soft red glow, barely noticeable, appeared above the Gallery capital world of Serata Prime. At first, people thought it was the atmosphere reacting to solar winds. Then the light grew stronger, deeper, blood, red. The stars themselves seemed to bleed, and every Galari knew the Leviathan had arrived. High Lord Zarnax stood on the council tower's balcony, staring up at the sky. He didn't speak. He didn't move. He simply watched the red glow spread across the heavens like a warning painted by the universe itself. Behind him, generals shouted. Ministers argued. Emergency alarms blared. But the old leader just whispered, "We told them they were not ready for the stars. But it is we who were not ready for them." Far above the planet, the Leviathan entered orbit. It moved in silence. No broadcasts, no demands, only presence. Its shadow fell across the cities below like a mountain drifting through space. People ran into shelters, shields powered on, fighter ships launched, but none fired, because every sensor told the same story. If it wanted to destroy them, it already could have, in the planetary command room. Gallery Fleet Admiral Reskin watched nervously as the Leviathan hovered overhead. "It's not firing," he said. "It doesn't need to," one officer replied. "It's already won," another shouted. "Launch missiles. Can't just sit and know." Admiral Reskin barked. "If we fire first, we die first." Knew the truth. This was not a war. It was a sentence waiting to fall. On the Leviathan's surface, massive glowing panels unfolded. Not weapons dash yet, just movement. Enough to show power. Enough to remind them the AI scanned every part of the planet. Shield generators, power plants, military bases, communication. Hubs all marked, all locked, ready. The next move belonged to Earth then. For the first time in weeks, message was sent from the Leviathan. Just one sentence, spoken in every known language, heard in every city, on every screen. Apologize or burn. Back in the council tower, panic exploded. Do they mean it? Want us to bow? It wouldn't destroy a capital world. But Zarnax raised his hand and said nothing instead. He walked to the ancient table in the center of the chamber and placed his seal on the edge. "Prepare a message," he said quietly. But before it could be written, a power station fired a defensive charge, just a small one, just a spark from a nervous soldier. But it was enough. Enough to break the silence. Enough to start the fire. The Leviathan reacted instantly, but not with lasers, not with bombs. With precision, a blue beam flashed down from orbit. It didn't explode. It simply erased. The station was gone, cut out of reality. Like a knife through cloth, then 4 more beams hit. Targets around the planet, all military, all exact, the cities, were untouched, not a single civilian harmed. But now, the stars had turned red with fire, and the message was louder. We asked once. The people on Serata Prime screamed. Not from pain, from awe, from fear. They looked up and saw the Leviathan not as a ship, but as a judge. In the control center, Admiral Reskin lowered his head. "Call them," he said. "Call the humans." "But they're not answering." "Then broadcast. Send it open. Let the entire galaxy hear." The Galari finally sent their second message to Earth. This time, no insults, no threats. Only 6 words. "We were wrong. We ask peace." And then, silence again. The Leviathan didn't answer. For 10 minutes it hovered, watching, judging then. It moved, not forward, not down, but away. The red light faded from the sky, and every Galari looked at the stars with new eyes. On Earth's moon, General Hale turned to President Amina. They surrendered. She didn't smile. She didn't speak right away. Then she simply said, "They almost didn't." Across the galaxy, leaders gathered in quiet rooms. They didn't speak of war. They didn't make threats. They studied, and they remembered that a species once called young and wild had become the scariest thing in the stars. One child, on a desert world far from Earth, looked up at the sky and asked her grandmother, "Will the humans come here too?" The grandmother shook her head. "Only if we forget to be kind." The gallery sent their apology. It was public. It was loud. It was too late. In every corner of the galaxy, the message repeated again and again. We were wrong. We asked peace. They begged. They offered gifts. They promised peace. But Earth said nothing. And the Leviathan stayed. It floated above Serata Prime like a dark moon. No movement, no sound. Only pressure. The kind that crushes you without touching. Inside the Galari Council Tower, High Lord Zarnax sat at the edge of the main chamber. His eyes were tired. The voice was low. We should have listened to their silence. We offered peace first, one counselor said weakly. Zarnax shook his head. No. We offered control. We offered chains wrapped in polite words. He turned toward the balcony where the red sun was rising. And now, we pray they accept nothing more than surrender. Far above, the Leviathan's AI processed new orders, not from Earth, from itself. It had been built not just to fight, but to remember. Its memory was long. It recalled every insult, every threat, every warning Earth had received before building it. It recalled the first time Earth was called a mistake. It remembered the first human colony that was destroyed by accident. It remembered the Galari laughter at human emotion, and it remembered the silence after Earth's final message. No more words. But then, the Leviathan did something unexpected. It broadcast one sentence. Not to Serata Prime, not to the Gala RI, to the entire galaxy. Do not mistake words for peace. The message shook the stars, because the galaxy had done just that for too long. Peace treaties, that meant control. Alliances, that meant ownership. Help, that meant domination. The humans had seen it happen again and again. And now, the Leviathan, they were burning all of it down, in hidden bunkers and royal halls. Alien leaders panicked. Some blamed the Galari. Others blamed the humans, but none dared speak. It's directly to Earth, because the Leviathan was still watching, and every move was a test. Back on Earth's moon, President Amina stood with General Hale. They apologized. Hale said, "Do we accept?" Amina didn't answer at first. She looked up at a digital screen showing live footage of Serata Prime. They used words to control us. Now they use words to save themselves. She paused, then said, cold and clear, "Let them see what words are worth." When war answers, Leviathan activated again. Its panels shifted, weapons charged, but didn't fire. Instead, targeted every Galari military outpost in orbit. No civilian homes, no schools, only power in one precise burst. Of light, 17 military stations went dark, not destroyed, just erased, turned to dust in a blink. No screams, no warnings, just the truth. Words burned fast in war in the Galari capital. Citizens stared in horror as their empire's military backbone vanished. One young Galari child cried out, "Is the sky falling?" Parent held them close. "No, child, that is Earth." Finally, the Galari Council sent a final message. No pride, no lies, only truth. We surrender all claims. We renounce all borders. Earth is sovereign. Please stop. And the Leviathan stopped. Not just movement. Everything. Engines off, weapons cold. Silent again, like it had finished a sentence, like it had made its final point. The stars over. Serata Prime returned to normal. No red glow, no shadow. Just sky. But people no longer looked up the same way, because they would always remember. What had floated above them? Not a ship, not a fleet, but a promise. Never again. Across the galaxy, species began changing their maps. They no longer marked Earth's space with dotted lines. They marked it with blank zones. No fly. Zones, forbidden zones, because they knew the truth. If the Leviathan wakes again, it won't give. A second warning. Back in Earth's command center, General Hale finally spoke. Is it over? President Amina replied. For now. She turned and faced the stars. But let them remember, Earth doesn't speak often. But when we do, our words end wars. The stars were quiet. For the first time in many years, there was no war, no rebellion, no lies spoken behind false smiles, because the Leviathan still floated in orbit and no one dared move, not even the Galari. Sarada Prime had changed. Its skies were no longer filled with warships. Its leaders were no longer proud. Now, its streets were full of silence and fear. The fear of a memory, the fear of Earth. In the Capitol Square, every screen flashed with the same words, by order of the Council. We surrender to Earth, all systems, all fleets, all control. It was official. It was final. The Galari Empire had knelt, but Earth didn't respond. No celebration, no speech, no demands, only the stillness of their great machine, the Leviathan. People across the galaxy waited. Would Earth take the Galari world? They destroy more? But Earth did something no one expected. They left. The Leviathan powered down fully. Its massive engines lit up, and then turned toward deep space. One slow turn. No rush. No threat. Just a simple message as it left orbit. We needed nothing from you, only respect. Then, it was gone. The galaxy froze. They had never seen this before. Humans after winning a war took nothing, no gold, no slaves, no land, just peace. The High Lord of the Galari, Zarnax, stood before his people. He lowered his head. Today, we do not rebuild with strength. We rebuild with shame. The people didn't cheer. They listened, because now they understood. Something deeper. The humans hadn't come to conquer. They came to end the lie of peace, built on fear. In the weeks that followed, Earth remained silent. Their fleets returned to the edge of their space. Their worlds stayed hidden. No threats, no messages. Just a quiet warning left behind in every mind. Don't force us to speak again. In deep space, aboard the Leviathan, no crew celebrated, no music played, only the soft hum of power returning to sleep. General Hale sat alone, staring out into the stars. He whispered to himself, "We never wanted war." Then he added something colder, "But if we must bring it, we bring the end." President Amina later addressed Earth in a global message. The galaxy speaks in lies. We spoke in truth. They gave us words, gave them warning. Let no species forget. Peace with Earth is earned, not demanded. Across the stars change began. Small species once bullied by the Galari stood tall again. Old powers backed away from Earth's borders. Alien empires rewrote their laws with new care, and many began using a new word in their languages, a human word, respect. Some feared Earth still. Others admired them. But all understood this. Asterisk, asterisk, they brought words. We brought a warship the size of a continent, and we never even fired our biggest weapon. Asterisk, asterisk, because the Leviathan wasn't just a ship, it was a message, a shadow, a mirror to the galaxy's soul. And when it left, it didn't leave behind ashes. It left behind a new order, somewhere far from any star. The Leviathan slept, deep within its metal heart. A final log was written. Mission complete. Peace held. Threat ended. Then silence. Cold, dark, still until the next time someone forgot what humans were truly capable of. The end.